If you have any technical issues, please DM Heather Miller in the Zoom chat. We will not be sending out the attendance surveys in chat. The email that you used to to sign up for the conference, will be the email that we send your certificate to. If you're calling in, please make sure that you email sandcouncil@azdhs.gov with your name and email address so that we can get your phone number that you are calling in with associated with an email to send your certificate to. And with that, we'll go ahead and we'll get things started. We have environmental health updates and sanitarian registration changes with Myrna Mota and Heather Miller.
Thank you so much. We're just going to be sharing our screen. And once again, we want to welcome you to the Arizona Sanitarians Conference. We will be giving some quick environmental health updates. And next slide, please. All right, so this is just an org chart of our entire bureau. And as you can see, under Heather Miller, she's our new office chief, and there is all the food safety team, our tobacco compliance program, our FDA tobacco compliance program, all the food safety programs. I'll mention some of the things in here really quick. We are working on retail food standards. Shauna oversees some of the same council activities along with Heather and the council. Rebecca does cottage food. Corey does behavioral health and prison inspections, as well as Jake. Joannie is our newest sanitarian. She does some man food, behavioral health facilities, and marijuana inspections. I mentioned, like I said, our FDA tobacco compliance program. Under Diane Burkett is Ryland and Alyssa. And under Jennifer Botsford is our bureau coordinator, Taylor, who is our heat relief coordinator, Nikki Jabari Kosh, who is our program manager for EHC, EPHT Bryce, and our CDCP HAB. Next slide, please. So just quickly putting a face to the team. This is our team. And like I said, so our new bureau, we used to be Environmental Health, Office of Environmental Health. Our new bureau is Bureau of Resiliency in the Environment, and our office is the Office of Food Safety and Environmental Services. Next slide. As you know, our mission and vision, our mission is to protect the health of individuals and communities in Arizona by delivering innovative services and driving evidence-based change. And our vision is health and wellness for all Arizonans in a natural and built environment where we live, work, and play. And now we're going to give you a little quick overview on our climate and public health programs. We have our Arizona Heat Preparedness Network. That is going to be Nikki and Jenny and the entire team is they're going to be hosting the Heat Summit that is scheduled for November 19th. The event is going to gather community leaders, public health experts, and change makers to reflect on the 2025 heat season. They will analyze lessons learned and plan for stronger community resilience against extreme heat. Our well water program is actually for providing support following the recent flooding in the Gila County area. They're procuring a contract to disinfect and test wells that were flooded in Gila County. The cooling center map has been updated to include enhanced filter features that is going to allow users to search by select counties and specific criteria, such as accessibility and available services at various locations. Our emergency relief brochures covering topics like wildfires and flooding are available, If you're interested in receiving any of these brochures, you can please contact Extreme Weather at acdhs.gov. Excuse me. All right, and as you saw earlier, we have our FDA tobacco compliance program under our bureau. This program tests compliance at tobacco retailers by conducting advertising and labeling inspections and undercover buys to ensure compliance with the Food and Drug and Cosmetic Act and the Tobacco Control Act. This year, already from September 30th through October 31st of this year, September 30th of 2024 to October of 2025, they've already conducted 1,656 inspections. That's an average of 127 per month. So they are extremely busy. Our undercover buys with youth have been 1,324, and the A&Ls have been 332 inspections. They're able to inspect all the 15 counties in Arizona. The entire tobacco team is also heavily involved in recruiting new youth around the state, coordinating the youth to participate. There's a lot of, making sure that the youth are able to go on inspections on the dates that they agree upon, and actively scheduling travel and logistics for conducting these inspections while simultaneously doing all their field and work in the field. And the recruitment of youth volunteers, they are looking for 16 to 20-year-olds. If you have any youth that would be interested in the program, please contact Diane Burkett at diane.burkett@acdhs.gov if anybody is interested. All right, and our next slide. I'm briefly introducing some of these topics. They will be covered more in depth. And so NEHA was held in Phoenix this year in the month of July, and we were able to attend. I'll be speaking a little bit more on the next slide. As you know, our cottage food program has been expanded quite a bit, and I won't go into too much detail about it because we will have a cottage food program presentation from Rebecca, and the same with our manufactured food program. We're going to have a more in-depth presentation from our program manager, Frank Gonzalez, and Heather will be talking about the Sanitarian program and some recent changes to the Sanitarian rules. But just briefly on our next slide, this is a picture of the team during the NEHA conference. During their presentation, the team is going to be, Heather's going to be sharing with you a little bit of the results of our risk factor study presentation, of the risk factor studies. The data was gathered during state prison kitchen inspections and behavioral health facility inspections. And our team is the first in Arizona that did a risk factor study in prison kitchens. And like I said, our next slide, Heather will be discussing the team's findings, which are very interesting. And that's it for me.
All right.
Heather.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to all our fellow sanitarians and everybody else in the audience, as well as our speakers today. So I'm just going to pick up with where Myrna left off and give some quick take-home messages about the risk factor study. So interestingly, both the prisons and our behavioral health facilities during the initial studies revealed the same critical issue, which was improper cleaning and sanitizing of food contact surfaces, particularly in manual and mechanical warewashing procedures. And then the follow-up prison study found the most common occurring risk factor was improperly held hot and cold temperatures, specifically improper cooling for TCS foods. But we did see an improvement in the cleaning and sanitizing of the food contact surfaces from the first prison study. And then the behavioral health facility showed the same issue as our first prison study, so we were able to apply the same interventions. And you can see some of the stickers here on the right for chlorine and 3-compartment sink washing, and then the bottom graphic there is actually a stencil. So these infographics were distributed both electronically and as hard copies. And the stencil for the 2 sanitizers, we initially developed that for the prisons because many of the paper signs in the kitchen will get damaged or torn down by the kitchen staff, which in most of the prisons are the inmates. And then with that stencil, the kitchen could paint that right on the wall, say above the 3-compartment sink, or even spray paint it right on the front of the sink with the sanitizer strengths there. And then as far as our future risk studies go, in 2026, we'll be conducting the 2nd behavioral health study. And then in 2028, we'll be conducting the 3rd prison study. As Myrna said, Rebecca Braden will be giving a cottage food presentation this afternoon, but we are super excited and have a few highlights. We'd like to announce we have a 16-part new video series under our cottage food guidance that can be found on our website. And it covers a wide variety of topics. Some of them are hand washing, cooking temperatures, how to properly clean your kitchen, and then 13 other videos. So you have to all go take a look at that. The cottage food program remains super busy. We've seen record-breaking months for new registrations. Some of the months we've seen over 700 applications. And then the program has been approving 400 to 600 registrations per month. So huge. A lot of people are jumping into that program. The total on the statewide active registration list, I'm sure it's over 13,000, but as of November 1st, it was 12,924. I'll touch on a little bit of manufactured food. Frank Gonzalez, who's our food safety program manager, and as well as our MIFRIPS coordinator, he'll be giving a manufactured food presentation, I think this afternoon. So for our MIFRIPS grant, which is the Manufactured Food Regulatory Program Standards, our grant runs from September of 2023 through June of 2026, and that focuses on standards work. For those of you enrolled in the retail program standards, the manufactured food standards are very similar. Some of them actually mirror each other. For the manufactured food FDA contract, the food safety team performs inspections on behalf of the FDA. They're credentialed to do those inspections through FDA. We completed 60 inspections and 12 site visits last contract year. So that was the federal fiscal year 2025 that just ended here in September. And then next year, we'll have the same basic inspection numbers moving forward for federal fiscal year 2026. And the manufactured food rules, we are currently waiting on the governor's office approval to move forward to GERC, and that's to move the rules forward to the governor's regulatory review council. But you can follow along on our webpage for the rules progress, on our page. And also we have updated that manufactured food rules page, and we have a new section for frequently asked questions relating directly to the manufactured food rules. On the retail side, our VNIFRIPS grant, which is the Voluntary National Retail Food Regulatory Program Standards, the grant that we have runs April of 2025. So we just had that renewed through March of 2028. And at the state level, we're currently in conformance with standards 1, 7, and 9. And those standards are regulatory foundation, industry and community relations, and standard 9 is program assessment. And then this 3-year grant will focus on standards 2 and 5, which standard 2 is trained regulatory staff, and standard 5 is foodborne illness and food defense preparedness and response. Unfortunately, we didn't receive the capacity portion of this grant this go around due to funding cuts. So our deliverable work was reduced because we did not have that capacity portion of the grant. As far as our standardization program, super happy to announce Corey Skelton is now our state standard. And we'd like to give a big shout out, thank you to Maricopa County for working with Corey and performing his standardization exercises. And Corey will eventually be available to standardize other sanitarians throughout the state once we focus on standardization work within our department for our internal sanitarians. And we'll be moving ahead and developing a statewide standardization program next year in 2026. And we hope to offer pre-standardization courses again like we have in the past. A virtual option is being considered by FDA currently, but we'll have more information on that to share with everybody next year. For retail inspections, most of you know ADHS inspects the state prison kitchens. and also behavioral health facilities, produce warehouses, and public school grounds that are not covered under county delegation agreements, as well as we also do licensed marijuana kitchens. For the annual report, the request for the Appendix C information was emailed out. That would be for fiscal year 2025. That was emailed on October 16th. And that included, again, the link to the Smart Sheets form. And if everyone from the counties could please complete that automated form, it really helps us out. It's much easier for us to compile all the county information into the annual report. Now for the Sanitarian program, we do have a few changes to the statute revision, and I'll go over those here quickly. So the state statute was revised in the past 2025 legislative session to update the criteria for Sanitarian registration. The rules will be updated to reflect those changes. The new statute did go into effect September 26th, and that will be applied at the next SAN Council meeting, which is December 4th. So the changes were made to make it easier to enter into the profession. If you're applying under education, the 30 semester hours remains the same. Courses must be relevant to the role of sanitarian as approved by the Sanitarians Council, and then 22 hours of coursework must still be in the natural sciences. And then lastly, the sanitarian aid and military experience saw a decrease in years from 5 years down to 3 years. And then our online application has been updated to reflect these changes. And as we all know, annual renewal time is here, and many of you renew right after this conference. Unfortunately, payment, excuse me, payment is still by mail. So we've had some delays in getting the online payment set up. And just as a reminder, please don't drop off renewal checks at the office building. Sometimes they don't get to us directly. It's best just to drop it in the mail, and then that will come directly through our department mailroom. So that's probably the best way to get it to us. And also, if you could please print your name and RS number on the memo line of the check or money order, we can get that applied directly to you. Just wanted to share some of our program group emails. I think we're up to 8 now. That QR code there, I'll leave that on the screen just for a short moment. That will take you directly to our food safety website main page. And then if you want to directly email us, you could use these program specific emails to send us questions. It looks like we did a fair job at setting up our emails because they're all pretty self-explanatory for which program they go to. But our general ones would be the environmental health and also food safety. And then the emails there you see in the middle. Sorry, there, advancing the slide. There's the QR code. The emails there in the middle will be for the program specific emails. And like I said, that QR code will take you straight to our food safety webpage. So thank you. Those are our EH updates for the day. Enjoy the conference. And we just want to say the overall statewide success of the environmental health program relies on the partnerships we have with all of our counties and the great work performed by everything that you guys do. So thank you again and have a good conference.
Thank you, Heather and Myrna. We do have 2 questions for y'all. The first one, are there any volunteer opportunities for retired RS in good standing in Arizona, especially in Pima County?
Directly through the state, we don't have any of that set up, but you may want to check directly with your local county health department there in Pima and see if they have any volunteer opportunities.
Awesome, thank you. And the next one is from Kyle. Why is there no online payment option for renewals?
Oh, that is an ongoing saga, to be honest. We've just had some technology issues. There's a lot that goes into the financial ins and outs of setting that up. We were hoping to have that this year, and I've been saying that for the past 2 years, but fingers crossed we'll get that up soon, and it will also activate for our sanitarian applications. The payment will also be set up for that. So we will let you know as soon as we have it. It will be on our website.
Awesome, thank you, Heather. And in response to the first question about volunteering, Corey did say that you can volunteer with a ZPA. But that looks like that's it for everybody. Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have a committee approach